Over 18 years ago, my parents made a decision for me that would tremendously impact my identity as a young man today. One of the long-standing traditions of being raised as a Roman Catholic is being welcomed into this religion through a baptismal rite. As part of the process, godparents are chosen to guide us in this initiation. They are individuals who are largely selected by their dedication to the Catholic faith and its teachings, as well as their overall commitment to being conscientious and compassionate contributing members of society. My Aunt Colleen is not your typical godparent. She is not well read or does not have the capability to achieve academic or financial success. As a 42-year-old woman with Down syndrome, she struggles with even the most basic activities of daily living. Her commitment to her faith, however, is admirable. When I was old enough to be able to comprehend the gravity of her mental and physical impairments due to this genetic disorder, my initial reaction was a mixed one. While I was intrigued by her as an individual, I was often embarrassed by her physical abnormalities and overt displays of affection. She would think nothing of running up to me with her awkward, wide-based gait and protruding tongue to envelop me in an unshakable hug. My friends would look on, astounded by her lack of inhibition. My challenge was an internal one. I struggled with the conundrum of trying to accept her as an intricate part of my life, while feeling ashamed to admit that she was even a member of my family. As time progressed, however, I slowly began to mature as a young man. I began to feel less apologetic for her behaviors and became more appreciative of my Aunt Colleen and her fellow peers. My next step towards completion of initiation into the Christian community was to be confirmed. This required 40 hours of community service, and the choice on how to complete this task was up to my discretion. It did not take me long to decide how I would tackle this obstacle that lay ahead. I quickly contacted my aunt's Special Olympics coach and asked her if I could begin to volunteer my time through coaching individuals with special needs. It was the beginning of a remarkable journey for me. Each and every Tuesday evening, I had the opportunity to mentor and teach these Olympians on the basic skills of sports, including floor hockey, volleyball, and swimming. There were some participants who struggled with the task of even holding a ball correctly, and others who battled behavioral issues beyond their own control. This did not hinder their competitive or warm-hearted nature. They loved to succeed, but regardless of the accolades received, they were always the first to pat their fellow teammates on the back in recognition of a job well done. After my 40 hours of service were completed, I was unable to walk away from my role as a coach. Over the course of the next several years, I continued to volunteer my time with the Sound Shore Stars. Ironically, my aunt and her friends, the very people I was reluctant to welcome into my life, became a profound part of who I am as a person today. I soon realized that the challenges I am confronted with on an everyday basis as a growing young man are minuscule in comparison to what each of these individuals bear on an everyday basis. And yet, they still face adversity with grace, kindness, and humility. Throughout my life, I undoubtedly face obstacles that have the potential of hindering me as a person. I found the best way to combat these anxieties is by addressing them and allowing myself the opportunity to confront the ideas that intimidate me most. In regard to this particular challenge in my life, I discovered that by immersing myself into my Aunt Colleen's world, I was able to take a step back from my ordinary life to experience and gain perspective from extraordinarily people. Most importantly, I ascertained that often most times the most unpretentious people can provide the finest example in guiding us through life's endeavors.